The Grower Calling, Canada's go-to horticulture podcast for the latest industry news. We're picking up the phone and talking to farmers to discuss topics impacting them and their farm business.
Fertilizers and crop nutrition are top of mind coming off the 2022 harvest. Growers are already looking to their input suppliers for 2023. They're concerned about sourcing, timely deliveries, and costs. There's a century-old company that is offering next generation fertilizers. I'm Karen Davidson, editor of The Grower. Today I'm visiting with Jason Haegele. He is the North American agronomy lead for the ICL-Group.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be with you.
Thank you so much, Jason. So let's start with some background on the ICL-Group. It's not a well-known name in North American agriculture, but it should be. So tell us more, and how are you growing a footprint in Canada?
Well, great. I'm happy to share some background about ICL. And you're right, ICL is not a new company globally. In fact, ICL just began its 100-year anniversary celebration this year. ICL stands for Israel Chemical Limited, so it's a company based in Israel and got its start back in the 1920s. So in that part, early part of the 20th century, right after World War I, the British were actually occupying what we now know as modern day Israel, and the British government gave permission to a company that would eventually grow into ICL to begin extracting minerals from the Dead Sea region in the southern part of Israel. Currently ICL is a global company, a very large company, and has very diverse business areas, but those business areas are united in the theme of using minerals for specialty applications in agriculture, food, fire retardants, batteries for renewable energy, industrial chemicals, and other uses as well.
Well, that's a fascinating background. I appreciate you sharing that with us. What is the key innovation then in your company's fertilizers?
ICL's fertilizer portfolio has a common theme running through it, and that common theme is nutrient use efficiency. We'll talk more in detail in a moment about a granular fertilizer product containing 4 nutrients, but ICL's focus also includes controlled release fertilizers like coated urea, as well as high-quality, innovative water-soluble fertilizers. As we think about Israel and some of the other innovations that have come out of that country, Israel has led the way in the development of efficient irrigation strategies like drip irrigation and complementary nutrient application practices like the use of water-soluble fertilizers. So as we look at the breadth and the totality of ICL's fertilizer portfolio, it's not commodity products, but very specialized products that you tend to have high nutrient use efficiency and sustainability to go along with them as well.
Well, that's definitely a theme that everyone's looking at these days is more efficiency from fertilizers. I noted on your website that one of your products is called polysulfate. So what's in this product and how is it differentiated in the marketplace?
Yeah, great questions. So you're right. One of our main focus areas right now is a product called polysulfate, and that's a product name, but the mineral itself that it's derived from is called polyhalite. So we'll talk maybe a little bit, about polyhalite and where it comes from first. Currently ICL has the only, commercial, source or mine for this mineral polyhalite that we market as polysulfate. And that mine is in the United Kingdom, on the northeast coast of England, near the North Sea. And so this mine it's a very deep mine. It goes down around 1,100 to 1,400 meters, to the entrance, the mine shafts. And then those mine shafts extend out underneath the ocean floor for several kilometers. This mine was started back in the 1960s as a source of potash and rock salt for the United Kingdom, and the mine continues to produce those products. But one of the other discoveries along the way was this mineral polyhalite. Polyhalite contains 4 nutrients. It contains potassium, sulfur, calcium, and magnesium. And as we think about potassium, calcium, and magnesium in that mineral, they're all in the sulfate form. So they're all readily available to the crop when used as a fertilizer. And that being said, this product, although it's available to the crop, has characteristics of being gradually available and sustained in its release over a period of time. So these nutrients are released, from the granule to the soil environment and in turn to the plant over a prolonged period of time, ensuring that these 4 nutrients, potassium, sulfur, calcium, and magnesium, are available to the crop like potatoes, at different points during the growing season when the crop needs those nutrients the most. Some of the other unique characteristics that differentiate, polyhalite or, polysulfate, as we refer to it as, content has a low salt index. Both those characteristics can be important for crops like potato. They can be sensitive to, high salt fertilizers like potash. And also, because it's a natural mineral with very little processing that goes into it, organic approved in, both Canada and the United States as well.
Well, let's dig a little bit deeper then on how polysulfate might be used in potatoes. You've already referenced that. Can you tell us, are there any trials in Canada, and what have the results been?
So over the last 2 to 3 years, we've done many trials across North America with polysulfate in a number of different crops, both field crops as well as higher value specialty crops. One of the crops that we've had the most success with, because of its need for calcium and other secondary macronutrients like sulfur and magnesium, has been potatoes. And so the last 2 years in both the United States and Canada, we've done a number of successful trials with polysulfate on potatoes. Specific to Canada, we've done trials last year in Western Canada, in Manitoba, and then also over the last 2 years in Prince Edward Island in the east. And so how we typically see polysulfate being used in a potato fertility program is as an addition to or replacement for components that are already being used in a fertilizer blend. And typically we would recommend that polysulfate be used as the primary or the only sulfur source in that blend, and also being used to provide a significant portion of the calcium required by the potato crop. Using the trial in Manitoba in 2021 as an example specifically, that trial was looking at polysulfate in a fertilizer blend compared to grower standard programs using ammonium sulfate, potassium magnesium sulfate, or calcium sulfate to supply those secondary macronutrients of sulfur, calcium, and magnesium. And in brief, polysulfate treatments in that trial were the highest yielding treatments, showing the potential benefit of applying all three secondary macronutrients, sulfur, calcium, and magnesium, in one package. And then the other exciting outcome of that trial in Manitoba was that after the potatoes were harvested, they were put into storage for a period of time. They were taken out of storage after a certain period of time and subjected to a fry test, specifically for French fry quality. And in that study where we were looking at the quality aspects, we found fewer reducing sugars. Reducing sugars impact the potential for acrylamide development in a fried potato, as well as the color of the potato. And because we had those fewer reducing sugars, we had a lighter color to the French fries after frying. And I just want to mention, for the trials in Prince Edward Island over the last couple of years, we've been looking at polysulfate compared to potassium magnesium sulfate as a magnesium source. And in general, we're finding that polysulfate has equivalent or greater performance to potassium magnesium sulfate when applied at product rates that supply an equivalent amount of magnesium.
Well, this is all a very timely conversation about fertilizer and crop nutrition because for all the reasons that we know, the geopolitics, etc., growers are very concerned about the availability and the sourcing of critical inputs. How can Canadian growers then access your products?
Great question. So currently we're working with, two distributors in Canada to supply polysulfate. And so we're working with Taurus Agricultural Marketing in Western Canada, and then Cavendish Agri in the Maritimes. We've certainly, sent polysulfate to other areas like Ontario. And so if a listener is interested in polysulfate and would like to learn more about how to, access it in their area, I would encourage you to, visit polysulfate.com, or, just talk to your local supplier of fertilizers and ask them if they've heard of polysulfate or you potentially have access to polysulfate.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for sharing your expertise today. I have been to your ICL-Group.com website, and I have to say I'm very intrigued with your company's sustainability goals. They appear very concrete to me and very interesting reading for sure. But that's a topic for another day. So with that, thanks again for joining us and telling us more about the ICL Group.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'd love to speak with you another time about sustainability and ICL's activities in those areas.
Thank you so much.
Is there an industry topic you'd like covered? Leave a comment, like our podcast, and share on social. Remember, if your phone rings, it could be the grower calling.